Last time, for researchers studying unexplained negative energy traveled to the ruined Chandapur estate, chasing a 200-year-old summoning text. They found a hidden door disguised as a mirror. They had no idea yet that stepping through it would be the last completely normal moment any of them had for a very long time. Beyond the mirror door was a narrow, windowless room, smaller than any of them expected. No grandeur, no gold-leafed shelves, just decades of dust and the smell of old paper rotting in the dark. Devon lit the space with a flashlight, and the group let out a collective breath. "Is this it?" Owen asked. "The Royal Library?" "If it is," Priya said, scanning the ruin around them, "there's nothing to celebrate. Finding one usable book in this mess is going to be like finding a needle in a haystack." The optimism from the drive overdrained out of all of them at once. "So we came all this way for nothing?" Devon muttered. "We're not giving up before we've even looked," Owen said, steadying the group. "Start with the near shelf. Between the four of us, we'll find something." They split the ruined stacks between them, half-burned volumes, water-damaged pages, texts on medicine, astrology, and ritual practice that suggested whoever built this room had been either a serious scholar of the occult or dangerously superstitious. Hours into the search, it was Mira who found it. A slim, half-burned volume that looked, at first glance, like just another treatise on ritual. They took it and left. The next day, the four of them gathered at Priya's apartment to work through the text. It was written in Old Persian script, and Mira was the only one among them fluent enough to read it. She opened to the first surviving page. A single word, underlined twice, sat at the top. "Forbidden." "That's an odd way to title a chapter," Mira said, frowning. "If it wasn't meant to be read, why write it down at all?" "Keep going," Owen said. She kept reading, translating slowly. The text described several categories of entities that should never be invoked. Most of them, it said, inherently malevolent by nature. Their very presence, the author warned, meant destruction. Further in were specific incantations, each one flanked by the same warning symbol repeated over and over in the margins. "Whatever this is," Mira said, eyes brightening despite herself, "it's exactly what we've been looking for. This is real." "Don't get excited," Devon cut in. "Not every power is something we're equipped to survive. The author of this book warned people away from these words 250 years ago. I don't love the idea of us being the ones to say them out loud again." "I'm out," Devon said flatly, standing. "You three figure out what you want to do." Priya's face shifted too. "He's not wrong. Maybe this is one we leave alone." "Fine," Mira said, closing the book with visible reluctance. "We won't. Forget it." The tension eased. Talk drifted to lighter things, how the Chandapur trip had gone, jokes, plans for the week, and eventually everyone went home. Alone that night, Mira couldn't stop thinking about the book. Curiosity is the mother of both destruction and discovery, she told herself, and she couldn't live with not knowing which one this would be. She got out of bed, reopened the hidden page, and began reading the forbidden incantation aloud, over and over, half expecting nothing to happen. Nothing did. After a long stretch of silence and stillness, disappointed, she closed the book and went back to sleep, quietly relieved. The next morning, she laughed it off with the group over coffee. "You were all worrying over nothing. I said the words myself last night. Nothing happened. I think that whole forbidden entity angle in the book is just embellishment. Somebody dressed up a local ghost story to make the manor sound more dangerous than it was." Then, mid-sentence, her expression twisted. "Excuse me?" she snapped at Owen, face flushing red. "How dare you look at me like that?" "Mira, I didn't do anything," Owen said, startled. "I'm sitting right here. Don't lie to me," she hissed. Then, seconds later, broke into laughter that didn't match her fury at all. "What's wrong with you?" Priya asked, alarmed. Mira blinked, disoriented. "God, it's so late. I shouldn't be out with you all this late." It was 3 in the afternoon. She grabbed her scooter keys and left in a hurry, mumbling apologies for behavior none of them understood. "She just accused you of something you didn't do, laughed for no reason, And now she thinks it's midnight, Devon said slowly. I think all this research is finally getting to her head. I'll stay with her tonight, Priya said, just to make sure she's okay. At Myra's apartment, everything seemed fine again. Mira cooked dinner herself, insisted Priya eat, and the two talked late into the night before Priya finally drifted off. Sometime after midnight, Priya woke with the unmistakable feeling of being alone. She reached across the bed empty. Mira was gone. She tried to sit up and realized, with a lurch of vertigo, that she wasn't in the bedroom anymore. She was standing in the middle of a dense, unfamiliar forest. She didn't understand how she'd gotten there. She hadn't felt herself move at all. Steadying her nerves, she crept forward and found a small clearing. Figures that looked like tribal dancers moving in some kind of ritual, swaying in unnatural unison. But as she got closer, there was no one there at all. Just carved statues, arranged in a circle. Their eyes carved wide open, as if something behind them was about to step forward and use them as a door. Room, forest, dancers, statues. Priya's head spun, reality folding over itself again and again. Then, from somewhere close to her ear, a voice. I require a sacrifice. Priya turned and saw Mira hanging upside down from a tree branch, hair swinging loose, eyes rolled back, blood streaked across her face. Priya screamed and jolted upright. Back in Myra's bedroom, drenched in sweat, dirt and leaves clinging to her clothes despite never having left the room. Shaking, she scanned the space and froze. On the ceiling, faint but unmistakable, a face-shaped outline had formed, as though something were pressing through from the other side, watching her. Priya had walked into dozens of haunted houses without flinching. This was the first time in years she felt real, bone-deep terror. This has to be an illusion, she told herself. None of this is real. But knowing that didn't loosen the trap she was caught in. She bolted from the bed and reached for the door, and the instant it opened, she was standing back in the same silent forest. She ran, desperate to find an edge to it, but the tree line never broke. Eventually, exhausted, she collapsed to sit, and the moment she closed her eyes, she was back in the bedroom. Door, forest, room, forest, room. Over and over, no way out, no way to tell which layer was real. The voice returned, closer now, colder. If you want to leave this place, a sacrifice is required. Whose sacrifice? What do you even want from me? Priya begged, voice cracking. Please, just let me go. She was seconds from losing consciousness entirely when the bedroom door opened, and Mira walked in. Myra's hair was wild, lipstick smeared across her mouth like something out of a nightmare. Dark and uneven, more like blood than color. Her eyes, always carefully done, were wild and red, hunting like something that hadn't eaten in days. She grabbed Priya by the arm, hurled her to the floor, and spoke in a voice too deep to be her own. If you want to live, Mira must be sacrificed. Otherwise she dies, and so do you. Priya forced herself to focus, drawing on every instinct from years of fieldwork. Tell me who you are, she said, voice shaking but steady enough to hold. Why is your spirit still tied to this place? If there's something unfinished, tell me. I can help. I'm not your enemy. I want to be your friend. The thing wearing Myra's face tilted its head, almost amused. You think I'm some restless spirit you can bargain with? I never had a body, never had a soul the way you mean it. Nothing here belongs to your world. How could I possibly want anything from it? Then why the sacrifice? Priya pressed. What do you actually need? I don't need. I take. And what I've decided to take is her. Priya's eyes burned, tears drying on her face almost as fast as they fell. How am I supposed to choose this, sacrifice my own friend? The thought had barely finished forming when the world folded again, and she was back in the forest, and Mira was sprinting toward her, axe raised. Priya panicked. Every instinct screamed self-preservation. As Mira closed the distance, axe swinging, Priya shoved her, hard, blindly, with everything she had, sending her stumbling sideways into the dark. A scream tore through the trees. The axe hit the ground. and Myra's head hung at an angle no living neck should hang at, blood pouring from her throat in the moonlight. Priya's vision went white with horror. Did I actually kill my own friend? Was this real? Was any of it real? Or was the trap about to fold in on itself one more time, dragging her somewhere even worse than before? Did Priya just kill her best friend? Or is this trap even deeper than it looks? Find out in part 3. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and tell us in the comments what you think Priya should do next.